I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you are destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner. My name is Marcus Saletta. Surely as I approach the microphone, I have my set of personal and professional issues. But I also bring to the table the wisdoms from the scars of life, having journeyed in this life. And I trust that I can earn the right to speak into your life. Welcome to the Coach's Corner. And I want to also say thank you to all of those that are listening to us worldwide. Also for the new programs and platforms, that we air, Blog Talk Radio. And thank you so much for those joining us on Spreaker at Select USA TV. Thank you for those that are joining us on Twitter at Select USA TV, I should say. And those that are listening to our block radio programming right there on www.415-96 Radio. My name is Marcus Salette, a.k.a. The Coach. And today we're talking about abused. Memories, flashbacks, and maybe you might be haunted. I trust that today you will be able to step a bit further into the future and leave the past behind. But unfortunately, the past will always simply try to try you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Whatever you do, please share us with a friend. Share us with a friend is my earnest request because SIB in radio is about improving your lifestyle. All right? Are you ready to get to work? Let's get to work. DJ, are you ready? I'm ready. And again, thank you once again for joining us on today. We are really thinking about sharing with you some things here from this point on that may be critical to your transition. As a transition coach, I don't have all the answers. Let me just say that out front. I do not have all the answers. I don't have them. The reason why I'm on the microphone is because it helps me as well process the things that I have used to overcome my past. People sometimes forget that life coaches do not have all the answers. The reason why I'm on the microphone is to help process the answers and the wisdoms that I have come to know that help me not only to survive, but to help me thrive in life. And I want to pass those on to you. And so simply we take this a bit more serious than, simply playing a playlist or music or just simply getting on the microphone for the hell of it. We do this for a very specific reason, to upgrade people's lifestyles where they are stuck in personal past issues. And today we want to talk about those who have been abused, still having to wrestle with memories, flashbacks, and perhaps they also may be haunted by the actions or the simulations in their present life of abuse in their past life. Now, as for me and my house, yes, I was abused. I was abused in every sense of the word, verbally, physically, sexually, and beyond. And my abuse was centered around church stuff. Without getting into a lot of details in this particular episode, my abuse was centered around church folks, religious so-called quote-unquote values, religious protocols, and so much more. And in my abuse, there were beatings, there were isolations, there were having to eat raw foods, there were handcuffs, tied up, left in the room, isolation in the basement of a church with no food, with no bathroom, having to piss in a corner because you couldn't hold it any longer. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but since I have your time and we trying to get a dime, I figured I'd drop that on you. And so when I talk about my abuse, it's real. Having been a ward of the state of Ohio for over 10 years, locked up very, very early, having a lot of counselors, a lot of therapists, expelled from several schools. I mean, I could go on and on here. Tell me when to stop. And I have made a very, very serious commitment to myself over the past 35 years to improve me. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I do not have memories of the past. Now, my abuser was my father in particular, and father and mother, married very early, did not realize and understand that some of the advice that they were given from church folks was not good advice. Have I made amends? Of course. Have I had conversations with my father about my abuse? Of course. Have I forgiven him? Of course. But these facts do not erase the premise that we still, as we transition from one level to another, that we still have memories, flashbacks, and for some of us, we are haunted. Now, I don't want you to be haunted by your past or your past abusers. I don't want you to be haunted, but sometimes being haunted simply means that we're not facing the past. We're not facing the facts that we were abused. We're not facing how we felt about that abuse. We're not facing our reaction to the abuse. And let me just say this, that our reaction to the abuse in our lives is not necessarily right. One of the things that I had to learn how to master in life is not to react to not only the abuser, but not to react to those who seemed, or according to my perception, simulated the same actions that the abuser brought on. You see, when you react to the abuser, your reaction may not be legal, your reaction may not be ethical, it may not be, moral, it may not even be spiritual. It's just that, a reaction. And we have to learn to understand that there must be a response, not a reaction. When we're in the midst of being abused, we're reacting, we're running away, we're drinking, we're trying to get involved in drugs. I didn't succeed in either. I didn't succeed in drinking only because my parents never drunk, so I never knew what to drink. And I didn't succeed in the drugs because I was very smart, and so they thought I was some kind of cop or something, So I was very depressed about that I couldn't get on drugs right. Nobody would sell me a rock because they thought I was FBI. What the hell? I couldn't backslide right, as they used to say in church. You see what I'm saying? But I had to learn what is the proper response? What is the proper response? DJ, give me some music. What is the proper response to those who may abuse you? You see what I'm saying? What is the proper response to those who may abuse you? What is the proper response? That's a very challenging question. It's a very challenging question. What is the response? I'll say it for the fourth time, not reaction. Because if you always react to those who abused you or to those who simulate the same type of actions, if you always react, you'll never heal. It'll be an open wound that always yields blood and pus, if you will. We have to move into a place where we can respond intelligently, emotionally, intellectually, cognitively, whatever word you want to put in there. And so I spent 35 plus years trying to learn how to respond to someone who has been bent on a way of doing things that continually violated not only your space, but broke your spirit. That's why I'm not easily impressed with church stuff. Folks hide behind Jesus' name, going to 2 and 3 and 4 services, loaded down with scripture. I grew up in the church, so I'm not afraid to speak my mind and respond to some of the innuendos and the protocol that alienates people that have true issues in the church. Now, let's just talk about memories for a moment. In your memory bank, based on the level of forgiveness, and forgiveness have to be practiced every day. It has to be practiced. It has to be, you don't forgive somebody one time and then all of a sudden you're done with it. No, you have to continue to forgive them. And there are going to be new instances and new simulations that will come up, new situations and new, perspectives that come up that brings back the hurt and the pain and the activity of that abuse. And you have to overcome again with a response. What am I going to do? And you know what's really aggravating? When you're doing really well mentally, cognitively, intellectually, you're doing really well. You've moved on, you thought in life, and then all of a sudden bad dreams, for instance, memories and bad dreams. Memories from someone that you met, that you care about, that you love, that all of a sudden now seems to simulate the same abuse that you thought that you had escaped. Memories. Well, based on the level of forgiveness that you have in your heart towards your abuser, will dictate, in my view, the level of memories that will continue to haunt you. Now, there are going to be some memories. Some people say, well, you can forgive, but you can't forget. You can begin to forget. You can begin to forget. In other words, you begin not to have it in the front lobe of your brain, but you begin to, file it respectively as experience along the journey of life. You file those memories. But if those memories are in the front lobes of your brain, trust me, you're going to continue to react rather than respond. And you're going to find yourself caught in the thicket of your reaction, because your reaction, again, may not be legal, may not be moral, may not be ethical. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to learn how to forgive constantly to ensure that the memories are filed appropriately. I felt that right there. I said you have to learn how to forgive consistently and constantly so that those memories are filed appropriately. I'll take a small break. Be right back. To grab a little bit of that coffee, hot coffee. Flashbacks, let's talk about that for a minute. Having been abused, you're gonna have some flashbacks. You think you're all good, you still gonna have some flashbacks. Hanging with your homies, you're gonna have some flashbacks. Hanging with the clique now, the group now, you're gonna have some flashbacks. What are flashbacks? Instances and moments that take you right back to that point, that instance where you were abused. That rejection, that abandonment, that alienation, if you will, that you felt in that moment. Have I had flashbacks? You damn well better believe I've had flashbacks. Do I have to keep praying not to have flashbacks? You damn well believe I better have to pray to make sure that flashbacks don't take control of my life to the point to where now I have a reaction to everything in life instead of a response. Are you having flashbacks? Well, you got to pray. You got to pray. You got to forgive. But furthermore, you have to process. For memories, flashbacks, and for some of you that are haunted, you have to process this stuff. That's why I started SIBN Radio, a lifestyle improvement station. What the hell you thought I started this for? To be popular? You thought I started it because I didn't have anything else to do? You thought I spent all of this money because I didn't have anything else to do? No, I started this because there are a bunch of people out there that are listening to me right here and right now who don't know how to process having been abused, who don't know how to process having been abandoned, who don't know how to process having been physically beaten and tied up, handcuffed, beaten and tied up, being physically, sexually assaulted. You see, I got some stories for you. If I had the time, and I have the time, I'll have to make room for some stories for you that'll really trip you out. You know what I'm saying? Because these issues are real. And while Jesus and the church and Christianity does play a part in the healing process, by no means, DJ, change that. By no means do I want you to understand. I want you to understand Christianity plays a part, but by no means does it erase. By no means does it erase what you went through. It doesn't erase it. And it, I just, I honestly, frankly thought that, these struggles would end, but some of them do not end as long as you are alive, as long as, my father has apologized to me for a lot of things that happened. He has apologized. But apologies don't wipe away 30 years, 20 years, 15 years of abuse. It just don't. Apology is a good starting place, but it just don't wipe everything away. And then sometimes we have these memories and flashbacks, and we're haunted because there's something that we're doing to cope with the pain of having to process what happened to us. So, of course, you got to forgive, you got to pray, you got to have some kind of koinonia, some kind of spiritual fellowship to bring yourself above the physical realm of the whole scenario and bring you into a psychological / spiritual healing pool that you can dip yourself into on a constant basis to ensure that you come up fresh and you come up anew, you come up encouraged, you come up full of strength so that you can now move and transition through life and in life. And to be frank about it, a lot of the transitions that we have to make in life will have simulations of our past. What do you do when you're getting ready to transition? For instance, transition in your business, transition in your marriage, transition in your new leadership position. And then these antics from the past come up. They come up to haunt you. They come up to stop you. They come up to steal away your courage to say yes to these new levels. Yeah. Flashbacks, moments, instances that take you directly back to where your abuser told you that you're nothing, you're hard-headed, you won't make it. Flashbacks, moments, instances when you go back to that instance, that moment when you were beat down, when you were handcuffed, when you were tied up, when you were in that room that was dark with spiders and dust and dirt on the ground. The room that I was locked up in, it wasn't even a finished floor. It wasn't even a finished floor in the church. Locked up, spiders, stuff crawling in the room. No bathroom, no food. Yes, flashbacks. Flashbacks can wrap your behind ass so around the past that you think you can't move forward. And don't let nobody come to you, step to you, what Jesus heals all. Yes, he heals all, but the fact of the matter is that the things that happen to you, are real. The things that happen to you are authentic. But how you respond, how you react is critical to whether or not you can move forward. You know what I'm saying? Now let's talk about haunted. Sometimes I just wonder, are we just always going to be haunted by the past? One of the things that I have said in the past, and I'll say it again, you have to create new memory banks if you can, and replace all of those memories of abuse with new memories. It's very difficult to do. I'm not talking about new experiences that just happen in life. I'm talking about we have to that's what you call processing. We have to intentionally journal, or intentional, like I'm on a microphone, intentionally sharing these things with you in hopes and understanding that you will comprehend how to move on, how to transition, how not to get stuck in the mud of emotional chaos, all because you refuse to face the pain. And I tell you, sometimes it hurts every day. Maybe we may not always acknowledge it. Maybe we may not always talk about it. Maybe we, but it hurts almost every day of your life, the things that happen to you. Let's just put it where it is. And you know what's really, really funny? When you're ready to make that transition, here comes an old head with simulative activities from your past, the way they talk down to you, the way they discount your experience, the way they discount your wisdom, the way they alienate you and get you by yourself and break you down to nothing. Oh, I could go, baby, I could go, haunted. And then turn around and put a scripture on it, and then that's supposed to make it okay. I'm take a small break. You got to know how not to be haunted by your past. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you ain't, and listen, if you're processing through your reaction only, you're gonna be haunted for the rest of your life. As soon as you get to a place, it's gonna be somebody there waiting, because you know what? Life is a test. We have to be able to study what happened to us, study a little bit about why it happened to us. Not that it was our fault, but have some kind of inclination as to why things happen, and then just kind of like be willing to let go and let God. You see what I'm saying? But that haunted feeling that you may have, it hangs around for a quick minute, if you will. It hangs in the air. But we can overcome that haunted feeling. We can overcome those flashbacks, and we can master putting our memories in their proper filing places so that we're not dominated consciously. You see, because if I keep the memories and the flashbacks and the hauntings of these past experiences in the front lobe of my mind, then what I'm doing, I'm creating a consciousness of fear, a consciousness of failure, a consciousness of inferiority, a consciousness whereby now I got to have Jesus every 5 minutes. In other words, yeah, I got Jesus, but then I'm going to have to run to him. But see, Jesus wants you to grow up. You have to grow up into him and into the full measure of the statue of Christ. And so the way to do that is that you have to do your homework. And, Alana Van Zandt, I believe that's her name, how you pronounce her name. She said that, listen, I was successful, but what happened was I had cheated somewhere along the path, and I did not do the real work that was required to process the pain that I had from the experiences of my life. And so when I realized that I hadn't done the real work, I had to double back, and I had to do my homework. I had to study. I had to do whatever was necessary to process and to get through what happened to me, a little bit about why, even though all of that is never answered. And then I had to double back up front and say, this is my life now. I'm in control. This is my response. I need some help. Y'all don't want to go with me. And see, that's why you don't want to reach out to me, because you got a fear inside. Some of y'all don't want to reach out because you got a fear. You know what I'm saying? And I feel it. I feel it through the airwaves. Why you can't send me a compliment? Because most people that are online looking and listening, they just going around looking and listening. They're not doing it intentionally to say, you know what, I'm going to be a part of this ministry, or I'm going to be a part of this movement, or I'm going to be a part of this action because this brother is right on, spot on. This is one thing I can understand, and as I get ready to come to a close, why is it that my father and my mother taught me to be professional? They taught me to be morally upstanding. They taught me to be mannerable. And throughout all that abuse, they mastered those three things in my life. I have to give them credit for that. But why is it that those are the three things that people hate you for? Now, if I'm saying bitch, hoe, and motherfucker, then everybody else will jump right on the end. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm talking intelligent and I have my cognitive thoughts arranged to be able to put them in sentences and be able to put them, you see what I'm saying, and arrange things so that you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about, I can't get no love for that. But if I go straight hood, I start talking nigga this and nigga that, then you can get some respect. Start talking hunky and cracker and this, that, and the other, and throw out some hate. Why is it like that? You know why it's like that? Because we've made it like that. We've made negativity our God. We've made negativity our God. We've made failure consciousness our statue. And we worship the negative. We worship bringing people down. We worship negative news. And I'm here to tell you that we got to bring a change to that. And it only has to start with one person. And I figured that, listen, I'm not the only one, but respectively, I said, you know what? I'll tell you what, I'll be a part of a change factor, a change reaction. Take a small break. Be right back with the final word. I'm trying to be a part of a change reaction, not a chain reaction. That's what I'm trying to do. What you trying to do? We got to change some of this. You know, you read the stories and hear the stories about how these teens doing all this crazy negative stuff to get attention. And, you know, your group of teens beat up on a girl and record it with a video, put it up on YouTube, and it gets 1 million, 2 million hits, and it's in the national news, and they sitting there smiling about that like it's funny. You know, another group of teens get a bunch of cinnamon and try to swallow a spoon of cinnamon whole. You know what I'm saying? And you got a bunch of those videos on YouTube with thousands and thousands and thousands of damn ass hits. You know, but you got somebody that come on the microphone talking about consciousness, higher consciousness, and living in success consciousness rather than failure consciousness, and you can't even get no love. That's the way the world is, and we got to change that. That's another form of abuse, cultural abuse. I mean, that's a whole nother topic altogether. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother topic altogether. Cultural abuse, where we celebrate evil rather than good, where we elevate bad over good. You know what I'm saying? Where we rather be ugly than nice. I need some help now. And then we hide behind church and God as though that's supposed to be a good cover. God ain't signed off on that mess. God ain't signed off on half of the mess that we talking about God in. You see what I'm saying? We got to get our act together. We got to do the personal work to have the personal prosperity that will leave a legacy for our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids. And I'm not cutting any corners when I deliver mine. You may like it, you may not like it, but I'm giving you the truth. And if you listen to me, if you follow me, you'll be further ahead next year this time than you are right now. By the way, by all means, you should download these things so that you'll have them for your iPod, because it ain't going to always be free. I heard that. It ain't going to always be free. You see what I'm saying? So, man, I got to get ready to get out of here. I want to thank you for listening. I believe, you know my statement. I don't believe you, but I believe in you. Some of the things that we say, no, I don't believe that. Well, I want to be better. Do you really? Because being better means you got to hurt some. You know, I want to be successful. Really? Being successful means you got to face your memories, flashbacks, and perhaps those things that are haunting you and preventing you from moving forward and transitioning into the new level and dimensions that you aspire to. Oh, I'm great and I'm highly favored. Yeah, you may be highly favored, but trust me, everybody that was favored in the word, they had to walk through hell and back. Not just when they were not on the Lord's side, but once they came on the Lord's side, they had to walk through hell and back. This is the coach, man. Whatever you do, follow me right there on Twitter at SelectUSA And don't forget to like our fan page right there on Facebook, The Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio. If you have time, go over there and visit us at www.415-96radio. That's www.415-96radio. Man, this is the coach. I got to get ready to go. So much to do and so little time to do it. See you next time.